Hello friends. So in this video, we are going to talk about how to configure IBM MQ for the testing purposes because sometimes you might not have the actual details. So if you need to test IBM MQ with your logic apps or any other applications, you need to have some sample test server for IBM MQ. So I tried few options. I got this link from IBM, and there is a lot of work in this where you need to actually create Azure Kubernetes services and put the installation of IBM MQ manager into this Azure Kubernetes services. And then you need to install and perform all the activities which are listed here on this link. But in the end, it won't work because I have tried this myself. So in order to save time, I'm going to share this information with you guys. Okay. Now just skip this one and I will share another link which actually gives us a test environment for IBM MQ. And you can test your Logic App MQ connector with IBM MQ configured. So you need to have a Docker image which is available, and you can use this image to install a container inside your Azure subscription. So this is basically a command which I will share in the description. You just need to run this command in your command prompt, and for that we need to have Azure CLI installed on your tab machine. So once that is done, then you can just run this command, as you can see, and it is creating the resources in Azure. So basically this is an image of a VM on which MQ server is configured, and we have just used this image, and this is a Linux based image, and we are going to use this image in our Azure container. So as you can see, I have already done the installation, and you can, let me just open the resource group. You can see the container image here. So this is the container instance which was created using that command, and it has got the installation of IBM MQ. So once this installation is done, you need to open MQ console, which will look like this, and you can log in using username and password, which is a standard username password. Type username as admin and password as PASSW0RD. Once you are able to log in from this MQ console, remember this was installed on the container which we have created, and this is an image. So here you can see it's a very user-friendly console. You can see this is a queue manager which was deployed using that command. So queue manager is basically a key functionality in which you can create queues and create test messages in those queues. So if you open this queue manager, you can create multiple queues, and for each queue, you can go and create multiple messages, and then you can test a single queue against your logic app. So there are various other settings which we will discuss later, but for this video, we are going to test the MQ connectivity to Logic App. We'll just create a single message and send it to Logic App and see how it works. So If I go back, and there is one more thing, you can download IBM MQ Explorer from the IBM site. I'll share the link in the description, and then you can just test your newly created MQ container using this particular option. So you go in the queue manager, add remote queue manager, and write the name of the queue manager that was created. And in the next step, you will be asked to put the host name. Let's see. And in the next step, you will be asked to put the host name, IP address, and the server connection channel. Remember, these three settings are very important. So you can actually find these settings in the IBM console. So if you go in the queue manager, you can see that particular setting from here. So you go in communication, go in app channels, use this particular channel in your testing from IBM and MQ Explorer, and then write and put the host name or the IP address. The host name will be this one, which is created using your Azure CLI command, and it is there hosted on your Azure subscription. So use this particular host name and put it here, and you can then go to the next step and next, and you need to enable user identification and click on prompt for password. So you will type again admin and PASSW0RD password, and then you click on finish. So once you are able to establish the connection, it will show you something like this. The queue manager is there on the machine, and it shows running, and see all the kind of settings here, right? So once you are able to test your newly created queue manager instance on Azure, then you can just go and configure your logic app in Azure for testing purposes. So in the resource group, go in the resource group, create a new logic app, and create a, remember you have to take a standard workflow here, because in consumption version it won't have an MQ connector. So you need to select standard version of your logic app, I mean the standard plan. So if you go in workflows, in the interest of time, I've already created a workflow. You go in the workflow, and I'll show you the designer, what I have created. So it says when the message is available in queue. So what I did is I went to the logic app, added a trigger here, and there was a trigger option. And then you can just search for MQ, and you can have all these kind of actions or triggers inside it. So it is not showing because it is already configured, but it will show once you have set up the Azure Logic app initially, and you will get an option to this when message is available in queue. You can basically change or create a new connection, or in the start you will see only the screen where you will enter all these details which you have used in this IBM MQ Explorer. So use these details, because you can you this is required because you can easily test whether this your queue manager settings are working or not, and then you go in logic app. Otherwise it will be a very time consuming to debug the things. So you write the connection name, the server name is same as the this one, the host one, and you can type 1414 as the port, TCP port, channel is same, which you have configured here initially. And queue manager is the name of the queue manager, which was created, QM test one. And connect as again is going to be admin. And another thing you need to type is username and password, which you have tested in MQ Explorer. So just type the same username and password we used earlier, and then it's done. So, and the next section should be to receive message. So once you have configured this successfully, you need to receive the message and type the queue name in which the message will arrive. So in the MQ console, you can see there is a different queues in the queue manager. You go in the queues, click here and type create message, test message 123, and then once you create this message, then in the logic app, this trigger will run and it will show the results like this. So if you go in the run history, it will show like this. So I have already tested a couple of messages. So in the interest of time, I will show you how it looks like once after the test run. It's taking a while. Okay. So if you go in the run history, you'll click here. And you will see this is successful. We have connected to the queue manager. And then if you click on the C message, this was test message 2 that I have said earlier. And this is all the error information and some of the queue based information. Then we terminate here. We can actually use this message to send it to other connected systems. And that's how you are going to test your MQ, IBM MQ with your Azure Logic apps. This is one way. So if you find any issues or something with this installation, then let me know, I'll help you. And I will share all the links related to this video in the description. So stay tuned on this. God bless. Thank you.